Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. Very easily done. Nicely, smoothly, simply. That's what India did. Kind of made mincemeat of Scotland today, getting that total well within the net run rate boost that was required. We were talking about 7.1. They got it done in 6.3, getting to 89 for the loss of 2 wickets. KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma, the openers, putting on quite a show. It was quite an attack. It was 82 runs in the power play and an opening partnership of 70. That's when Rohit Sharma went. Rohit Sharma, of course, got 30 of 16 balls, and Rahul getting his half century in 18 deliveries, getting out on the 19th. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Zaheer Khan and Dinesh Karthik. DK, we knew they'd get it done quick, but this is a little quicker than even we expected.
I kind of had to hurry my dinner up a little bit.
Yeah, we all did.
Absolutely no time, but that's what you would expect out of an Indian team. Some, real world-class batters there. KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma, top of the rung. They are, just too good a batsmen to fail too often. They're just absolute treat to watch as well. I was just watching, at times you do feel a little bit of pity for the bowler, and I did feel for the Scottish bowlers today. Couple of them, obviously they had all the fielders on the offside up. He was just going over offside. If they brought mid on up, he was going over mid on. Sometimes it can be a pretty unforgiving game, this white ball cricket, especially in the power play to world-class batsmen. They make it look a lot simpler than what it is. Keep finding gaps, keep hitting over the infield. Overall, outstanding display of batting from both the openers.
Zach, that was complete destruction, wasn't it?
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. We did mention that the net run rate point was discussed in the halfway through the innings, and it was something which we were expecting. We got better than what we expected, so that's damn good. I think if you ask me, after New Zealand game which India lost, and when things were standing, a lot had to go India's way. So you can say that right now that Afghanistan and New Zealand game is going to be very, very crucial game, because that's your chance. That's your chance of qualification now, because you have gone past Afghanistan now on net run rate. You have done what it took to get to this situation, and this is the best you could have done now to give yourself the chance before that game happens.
Yeah.
So that is done now. All eyes on 7th November, GK. That's how it's going to be, because the other part is an easier part now.
Yeah. Correct.
We'll say relatively easier. You've seen, the intent shown by the Indian team in the last 2 games. Whatever it is going to be required to do on that particular day with regard to net run rate or otherwise winning the game,
Namibia, which is the last game for India. Yeah.
But you will know beforehand. That's the good part. So now we just have to wait and see how the Afghanistan and New Zealand game goes on 7th.
Correct. Everyone is going to be rooting for Afghanistan in that Afghanistan-New Zealand game, because, again, India will be taking on Namibia, very inexperienced team. You know that India will get the better of Namibia. It'll have to really take something very drastically miraculous to happen for India to drop that game. But then, of course, there's the New Zealand-Afghanistan game, which essentially becomes like a quarterfinal then. It becomes a quarterfinal for New Zealand, because New Zealand has to win to qualify that game. And if Afghanistan wins, then they have to win it at, they'll have certain net run rate calculations, because they'll have to go up above India's net run rate. But DK, as you pointed out in the mid-game show, India's net run rate is going to get an even bigger boost in the next game.
Yes, I don't think the net run rate is a problem for India at all.
Yeah,
just need to wait and watch on the 7th of November if Afghanistan have it in them to take on New Zealand and probably take them down in many ways. The question of net run rate is not a problem at all. It's pretty straightforward. India is way ahead in that game. They're the best in the group, in fact. They're way better than Pakistan as well. But it's the points that's going to matter the most, not the net run rate for India at least. I think they've shown the world how good they are. Obviously, when you come up against Afghanistan and Scotland, you're expected to win, but put in a dominating performance like this against 2 good opponents, it's just good to watch. And it's good for India as well. They'll feel, they can breathe a little easy, and they'll feel a lot better for the kind of cricket they've played. Because I think after the first 2 games, they would have been probably a little disappointed. But now they'll at least know that what they're capable of is a lot better than what they did in the first 2 games.
Yeah. Also, I mean, if you look at it, they've taken the net run rate in these 2 games. How convincing they've been is they've taken it from -1.6 to +1.6. That is a leap and a half, and they've done it with such dominating performances, like you see today. Put Scotland into bat, skittled them out for 85 all out in the 18th over, and after that, getting this done in the 7th over. So you, I mean, it's crazy. India almost won in the power play. There was just that wicket fell, so it just kind of slowed it down. Otherwise, I think Zach today they had come with the intention of winning it in the power play. We'll get it done. Doesn't matter if it's 85. We'll get it done in the power play itself.
That's the way it was going, but only wicket could have stopped that kind of a run flow. And when you know that you're chasing such a small total, even the wickets also don't help. So it was that kind of a day. You can't really now talk too much about it because it was just a plan, clear-cut plan. Go out there, and when you have quality batter like KL Rahul scores 50 of 19 deliveries, and equally equally powerful Rohit Sharma batting at the other end, you know where as a bowler where you're going to go. So I think it was all about intent. That intent started from that Afghanistan game, and the result is in front of you. That net run rate jump which you're talking about is also a reflection of the quality of cricket you've played and quality of sheer dominance what we've seen in the last couple of games.
Yeah, it's really one of those games where you look back and you say, there's nothing really to analyze. What happened, right? India it was like a road roller. It was steamrolling the opposition. You look at it and you go, yeah, that was great batting. It was great bowling. We discussed the bowling as well. We'll show you those stats again, just so you can have a look, because there was 3 wickets for Shami. There was 3 wickets for Jadeja, who were both absolutely brilliant today. They were all absolutely brilliant today. Jasprit Bumrah picked up 2 wickets. Ravichandran Ashwin, his 4 overs for 29 and 1. You'd look back and you'd say, okay, I was the most expensive, but it's just little over run a ball. So it's just looking expensive in stark comparison. But otherwise, as a bowling unit, they were fantastic. They were on the ball, literally. The number of dot balls that they had today, what is it? Is that math anyone can do? I'm done with numbers today. I've got everything wrong.
27, 38, 49, 61 dot balls.
Nicely done, DK. Good job. Love it. 61 dot balls. You'd say that it's a little more than half, but India didn't bowl all 20 overs. It was only 17.4. So it's 61 out of, DK?
I don't know how many, 17 point, 105
17.4.
106.
So 14.
106. So that's 61 out of 106. That's what percentage? Okay, that's too much. All right, I'm pushing it now. That's too much. I'm pushing it. No, but that's a lot of dot balls. Zach, they'll be very happy with this bowling performance today. Comprehensive.
Comprehensive is the right word, GK. I think that's the way it has gone in the last couple of games. Today, it was required from Indian point of view to take a notch higher, and they were up for it. So that's something which was very evident. Bowling first, actually, I thought maybe batting first was a better call. Put runs on board and then squeeze it. It becomes a touch easier against a position like Scotland at times. But nonetheless, attack from word go, having that kind of intent was something which was heartening to see. Like I said, we've Indian team has done whatever is in their control right now. And the desperation is there. A desperation to show that we are not down and out. We can still do it. Yeah. And we're going to really put other team under pressure, which is New Zealand in this scenario, to really go out there and win.
Is everything okay? Is that you? Is that a fire alarm? Is that a fire drill? Is that a fire drill?
Yes.
DK, should I just ask DK to pick it up while you investigate?
Indian team is coming strong. That was the siren.
Oh, okay. That's the fire drill because the Indian team is on fire. Just be careful, bro. I don't think you want sprinklers in 6 degrees, all right? So just be careful.
No, just a drill. Just a drill. Don't worry.
It's just a drill, and that's fine. Well, what India did today was not a drill at all because Virat had said it at the toss right in the beginning, DK. They came with that intent today. It was not just about winning. They had in their head saying, oh, we're going to win this easy. It's how we're going to win it is what we're going to show you. You like that from India because that's the kind of cricket that they've played. And I think that's what was... even when Sehwag was talking about in the first 2 games, the body language he was not happy with. This is the kind of team you want. You want their talk to be spicy. You want their walk to be spicy. There's a little bounce. There's this is the kind of fire drill that you want from the Indian team.
True. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The Indian team is capable of it. They've shown us consistently over a period of time as to what levels of cricket they can play, and it was just beautiful to watch them in full song. They all sang from the same song sheet, and when they do that, it's always it's a pleasure to watch them do what they do. But I'm just thinking as I sit here, imagine if we had had these two games as the first two games that India had played. That would have
Ah,
been a
man.
completely different scenario, isn't it? Walking into a Pakistan with this kind of
Man.
confidence, they would have also been under a little bit of pressure, thinking, how am I going to bowl over KL Rahul and a Rohit? We would have looked at it things differently, but hindsight is something that is always a privilege to have, but not many do have the opportunity to make it come as reality.
I mean, the toss itself, Zach, in that first India-Pakistan game. I know that when we talk about it right now, I'm not talking about it as an India fan. I'm talking about it completely objectively. It did play a very big part.
Yes, and maybe you can look at it when I'm saying no, because
Hmm.
you still got to play good cricket throughout 40 overs.
Fair enough.
And a toss is something which is not under your control. So you want those things to go your way, but not always things are going to go your way. And with good teams, GK, these kind of things don't really matter. Good teams know how to adapt to conditions, how to adapt to situations, how to handle pressure. So these are the expectations which we always have from this Indian team. Yeah, at times it's very harsh to have these kind of expectations, but that's the reality of the situation. Every
Yeah.
time Indian team is going to go out there, they will be carrying these kind of expectations, and then they're carrying these kind of expectations. That's because they've done it in the past, and they
Hmm.
have the capability of doing it.
Hmm.
So when you walk in a tournament as one of the favorites to lift the cup, you are expected to do all these things, right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, even though the conditions, we know that the dew played a factor, and it's not easy to bowl under those kind of conditions and all that. But when you are one of the favorites to lift the cup, you are certainly more than capable of dealing with any sort of pressure or
Hmm.
condition obstacles, as per se.
Well, I mean, it's still a while away, but in case Afghanistan can beat New Zealand and can stop them in that last game, and India carry on this kind of steamrolling, then India will be going into the semi-finals with a lot of. It'll be like a rocket, right? It'll be a lot of fire, and they'll be going like a rocket. But anyway, listen, this is a lot of ifs and buts, right? DK, we shouldn't get people's hopes up that much as well. Wait, there's a couple of matches to go, and when they go and how they go is what we'll know, because I I get your hopes up, and then New Zealand wins that game, then you're going to come at me, you're going to troll me. I don't want to do that. All right, let's tell you what happened in the first game as well, because New Zealand also played a great game of cricket today. New Zealand was playing against Namibia. That was the first match today. And even though they had a bit of a hiccup, there was a time when they had lost their top 4 wickets with not too many on the board, but they recovered well thanks to Glenn Phillips and Jimmy Neesham. 72 scored by them in the last 4 overs, taking their score up to 163 again for the loss of 4 wickets, because Neesham and Phillips were not out at the end of that partnership. And Namibia could only manage to get to 111. On the dot bowling, Tim Southee, Trent Boult, Jimmy Neesham, everybody was fantastic, and they got those 2 points and a big booster shot to their net run rate as well. Against Namibia today. So that was the first game. Let's show you the points table. Today was this group's game. So 4 out of the 6 teams have played from this group, and this is how it has ended up. New Zealand have picked up 2 points as well. India have picked up 2 points. New Zealand now at 6, India now at 4, and both teams have the one game to play. India has to play Namibia, and New Zealand will be playing Afghanistan. And Pakistan has to play Scotland, right? Pakistan has one game left. So they will also be wanting to go 5 out of 5 and top the group and get into the semi-finals with just a lot of steam there themselves. All right, let's have a look at the games that are happening tomorrow then. All is good in terms of India. All is the hunky-dory. Everything is the beautiful and the bellissimo. And till India plays again in 2 days, everything is going to be fantastic. Everything's going to be fantastic after that as well. And let's just hope that we can make it to the semi-finals. But let's have a look at the 2 games tomorrow. What's coming up? Come on. I have no idea. Come on. Yeah, Australia playing West Indies. West Indies are out. They're not just out, they are down and out. They are playing match 38. And the next game, this one's going to be in Abu Dhabi, of course. And the second game that's going to be played tomorrow. Who's the second game? Come on, give it to me. Come on. Give it. Yeah, okay. England playing South Africa. That's the big game we want to see. And that's happening at Sharjah. Ooh, exciting times. Okay, let's talk about the first game first. Australia playing West Indies. DK, it's really, I mean, I know you've got a lot of buddies there because, Andre Russell plays, Sunil Narayan plays. You've got buddies that are playing there. This is not the kind, I know Narayan's not in the team, but this is not the kind of brand of cricket that, that you're used to from the West Indies. They are not used to this brand of cricket from themselves, and they are going to be fairly disappointed.
Oh, I think they'll be very, very disappointed. I think Kieron Pollard, in so many ways, in so many words, has come out and said that he wasn't too happy with the way the team has played. And, there's obviously a lot to look into. You do feel that there'll be sweeping changes coming in for the next World Cup. It's going to happen in a year's time. And a lot of players must have been hoping that if they do well, they'll get another crack next year. But definitely doesn't look like it. You did get the feeling that a lot of the players are probably might not get another opportunity or another crack at the World Cup that's going to happen in Australia. But for this World Cup, I think their time is done. They have nothing to play for. They'll just play for a bit of pride. And, in many ways, Dwayne Bravo's last game is retired after this. So it'll be nice for them to obviously finish on a winning note. And Australia, West Indies have always had some heat amongst them. So hopefully it turns out to be another match where it's very exciting. Obviously when Australia toured West Indies recently, West Indies beat them convincingly 4-1 in the home series. So Australia have some reason to make amends, and West Indies always known to play their best cricket against Australia, because over a period of time their rivalry has turned out very nicely, especially in this format. So something for all of us to look forward to. But if West Indies do play to the potential, which at this point of time looks highly unlikely, they're a beautiful team to watch. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's great. I love that adjective. They are a beautiful team to watch, and it's just been, as a cricket fan, it has just been so difficult to watch the defending champions not being able to attack, because that's what has happened to them this tournament. Yeah, Zach?
They attacked and they over-attacked, and I think that's where the trouble started, I guess, with the first game, and then after that they were not able to really make a comeback.
The 55-run attack?
55 run attack, but just trying to put the ball out of the park. Wanted to kind of stamp an authority on this World Cup. Was kind of that kind of approach, that even though wickets were falling, they wanted to kind of keep up with that kind of a mindset and approach. Didn't really come good for them, and after that, it has been a World Cup to forget for them. So they've tried a whole lot of things, has not worked. So DK is right. It's just about looking for future and playing for pride right now. Identifying, maybe you might see some of those kind of changes as well. If you see any future prospect there in that squad, maybe O'Shane Thomas will get a go ahead. We've seen Ravi Rampal has been around for a while. Jason Holder actually has made a difference to their squad. After him being included. Yeah. Maybe not picking Narain was the trick which they missed for this World Cup, in terms of the bowling lineup. But batting just has not come to the party. They've been just trying things, but didn't really come through. So yeah, Chris Gayle, whether he plays the next World Cup or no, that is also another question which we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Dwayne Bravo walking away from the game, playing his maybe last international. So there are things which they can look to motivate the troop and the squad and play for pride.
This would be, I mean, as much as we love the universe boss and love seeing him bat, unless of course you're bowling to him, but as much as we love to see him bat, DK, I think this could be the end of the road for the universe boss, isn't it?
Well, he said that he's going to play till 42, 43. That's what he said. He wants to play a couple more IPLs. He has a lot of cricket in him, is exactly what his statement says. But look, if you had to look at performances, obviously, I think even if he was a selector, he wouldn't be picking himself. I don't think he's done justice. They've played him all games. Even in the last couple of series, they've played him, but he's not played to the potential that he's shown over a period of time. I think everybody knows that obviously, he's getting older by the day, and whether they need to look in another direction where they look at a young opener and somebody who can fill his boots. Those are huge boots to fill in as well. Over a period of time, he's arguably been the greatest T20 player around the world. So it's not easy to replace him. But the question is, if you do want to look forward, then you have to move on. So that's a question that the West Indies selectors will be answering at the end of this World Cup for sure.
For Australia, of course, let's have a look at their team and see if they would be making any changes. Do you think, I mean, the only change they've actually really made is they got Agar in for Marsh, and then the last game they got Marsh back in for Agar. Who do you think they would back against West Indies? They'd probably go with the same 11, Zach?
Same 11, I guess. Don't see any changes. Well, adding another leg spinner for Marsh, but I don't see that as a possibility because they already have enough options in bowling. Plus, you look at too many left-handers in West Indies side as well. So that also uh, gives you that opportunity of squeezing in Maxwell's over. So that's something which you will see as a tactic from them, which we've seen Maxwell bowling in the power play as well. That also something which has worked against West Indies for sure. The power hitters at times get stuck against spin, so that's something which they will be keeping in mind. But it's an important game for Australia for sure. They have to. It's a must-win game for them. So they can't afford to relax and give South Africa a sniff because they're playing later. So I think that's something which will be playing in that camp for sure. And so far, I've liked how Australia is coming together. You can't really relax against them. The only game which has gone against them was that England game, right?
Yeah.
Where actually they couldn't really compete. Other than that, when you look at this team, you have Mitchell Stark in good rhythm. You have Pat Cummins who can contribute with bat and ball. You have a good balance of all rounders as well. Mitch Marsh has not bowled that much so far in the tournament, but he's got the ability to bowl. Stoinis is a good finisher. So they have all the ingredients to really be a force to reckon with if they qualify. So that's something which they will be keeping an eye on. They've had a decent World Cup so far, so looks like a low on confidence West Indies team, and good enough Australia team. I think you will back Australia in tomorrow's game.
Yeah, because it's interesting with the points table. If both Australia and South Africa win their games tomorrow, that means you have a three-way tie at 8 points. Then England definitely goes through. I mean, unless they get beaten by South Africa with some innings and 400 runs or something, they're definitely going to go through. And then it's going to be between Australia and South Africa. So both of them tomorrow will be looking at winning, but also looking at winning with big margins, right? Of course, the advantage is that South Africa is playing the second game, so they'll know exactly what Australia has done, and their task will be cut out for them. Of course, they'll have to win if Australia wins. But if if Australia doesn't win tomorrow against West Indies, then it becomes interesting as well. So it's all. I mean, tomorrow is a fantastic day of cricket because it has come down to these last games to decide who goes through to the semi-finals. DK, you got to love it, right? This is why you play this kind of a format. You want it to come down to the last day.
At the start of the tournament, they said this was a group of death. For sure it was. Obviously, England ran away with it, but the other teams kind of kept fighting. But it's come down to Australia and South Africa. I think along with Sri Lanka and Namibia, the team that has really played well is South Africa. They've really fought hard. They lost the first match, a scratchy match for Australia, just found a way to eclipse South Africa. But after that, South Africa played some real good cricket. Again, they're not the most talented side, but they've really played well as a unit, and they'll be really proud. And I think the whole nation of South Africa, with everything that is happening back home, they'd be very proud of the way their team has showed up to this World Cup and done well. I think the 2019 World Cup was an abject failure for them. For them to come back and do what they've done in this World Cup, with the limited talent that they've got, all the issues that they're facing internally, it's just been a great team to watch. Markram has done really well. Quinton de Kock coming back. Rassie van der Dussen done really well. Killer Miller is back. He did really well in another inning. Bauma has played a couple of very, very interesting innings as well. The key has been the bowling for them. I think Rabada, Nokia, Shamsi, Maharaj, all four of them have really stood up in the bowling department, delivered at various points of time. So overall, obviously, they've played some great cricket. As much as I've, up South Africa and feel good for them, I do think Australia will have their way tomorrow and they will move on to the semi-final. They have a comparatively easier match against West Indies, who's obviously not slightly low on confidence. On the other hand, South Africa is probably playing the best team of the tournament and they'd be coming all guns blazing as well. So you would expect England in many ways to, canter home to a victory. Not that easily, but I would think that they would still find a way to, win. The only thing is the toss. but it's played in Sharjah, so you never know what happens there. So we got to wait and watch. Again, another game, another T20 game where toss could play a vital role, and in many ways, I hope that South Africa can defeat England. But I would think it's really, really hard. I do think Australia have the upper hand going into tomorrow.
It's amazing that this was the group of death, but two teams here just committed suicide, right? They just did, and that's why the fight became amongst the other teams. So it really, I mean, for Bangladesh and West Indies here, it really has been quite a dismal World Cup. But for West Indies, a good chance tomorrow to make something up, to definitely take. I don't like using the word pride, but at this point in time for West Indies cricket, their pride is absolutely hurt with their performance in the first 4 games. So expect them to come hard tomorrow. And they've got their old spicy opponent, Australia, against them. Let's look at the second game. It's England playing South Africa. We just spoke about South Africa. For England, there's the one change, of course, Zach, that Temal Mills is not there. So Reece Topley has come in. Let's look at the England squad. Would Reece Topley come into play, or would you play somebody else? Would play David Willey, because he has been one of your mainstays previously?
Well, that's the call they'll have to make. You are you okay with getting someone? Well, now these replacements also pretty much travel with the team. So they're pretty much part of the squad. So if you look at it that way, then the choice is between David Willey and Reece Topley. Reece Topley is someone who's tall, who bowls those back of the hand slower ones as well, whose predominant job is to bowl those back end overs. So far England, if you see, they've been sticking to a structure. And if you're looking at that structure, then you will feel that Reece Topley is going to replace Temal Mills in the playing 11 directly. Because that's the way they have been stacking up. David Willey is someone who actually bowls a bit and bats. So that is the kind of role which he'll be looking to play in that setup. So he looked like a more of a backup to one of the all-rounders which they're playing.
Yeah.
And Reece Topley is going to be the out-and-out back-end bowler. So I think that's the only change you will see from this side. But so far, no one has really challenged England in this tournament. So you would want that South Africa will put up a good show playing in Sharjah. Hopefully the spinners will also come into play. So someone like Tabraiz Shamsi and Maharaj, we've seen that South Africa's bowling lineup has been their strength, and England's batting has been very strong, even though they've been getting teams out for 55 and under 100. But I think they're predominantly backing the style of batting which we've been seeing, generally aggressive. So that is the main contest. So I think from that point of view, it's going to be interesting to see that whether South African bowling lineup is able to challenge this strong English batting lineup.
I mean, if anything has challenged them, is perhaps the surface at Sharjah, right, DK, in England? If anything has sort of scared them to stop a little bit.
I mean, yes, I think so. Sharjah, probably of all the 3 grounds, they'll be a little vulnerable at Sharjah because obviously it's slightly harder to bat on that. But even there, they found a way. They dug in deep. Obviously, Jos Buttler and Morgan putting on that brilliant partnership before Jos Buttler showing the world why he's one of the top batsmen in the world. Some of the shots that he played, fabulous. And then bowling with a wet ball and still finding a way. They lost one of their main bowlers, Temal Mills, still finding a way. Some of the fields that Morgan said, he's at the top of his game when it comes to captaincy for some time now. You can see, some brilliant moves there in the last game, bringing in Livingston, the 19th over to Moeen Ali, pushed to a corner, but still finding some answers. And, that's been the beauty of Owen Morgan and his captaincy. I do feel, when it comes to the bowling, I feel a like for like in many ways will be Mark Wood as well. He's been a solid bowler for them. Came into the World Cup, had a bit of a niggle, and then didn't, and hence Temal Mills played. But I do feel Mark Wood has a great chance to play as well. If they go in for the left arm option, definitely between Topley and Willey. But I feel that Mark Wood would be their choice as we sit here today. I mean, we'll know tomorrow, I guess. Overall, England do look the team to beat in this World Cup. They've played the best cricket, according to me. They look a solid, well-oiled, well-rounded, quality side, which is, marching towards another World Cup final, if I may say so. So, this game is one of those games. They have to play against South Africa, but they have a bigger game to play in a few days after that.
Let's just pull the points table out and go for a section I like to call #feels, right? We're going for #feels. What are the feelings, boys? What are the feelings? What's going to happen tomorrow? Who are the 2 semi-finalists from here?
I can tell you one thing. It's a very interesting day tomorrow to watch cricket. If you're a follower of the
Politician
team,
answer.
then tomorrow,
Politician answer.
not politician answer. You look at it like, if both the teams lose, then also it's interesting.
Yeah.
If Australia wins in the morning or loses, it doesn't matter. There's still equal amount of pressure for South Africa to go out there and win that game. If even if say Australia lose the game, there are all the possibilities which are on the table, which make the day very interesting, right?
Correct. But that answer is #brain. I am asking #feels. So what are your
Okay,
feels
then
saying?
England is pretty much qualified, right?
Yeah.
So the other team you're talking about, is it Australia or South Africa?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Australia.
Australia. And DK, you also said it's Australia?
Yeah.
Australia. So you're saying England and Australia? Okay. I've got the day off tomorrow, so I'm just going to put mine in right now. I'm going to say England and South Africa. Come on. Let's see. Let's see what happens and how it goes down. All right. So, yes, as Zach says, as DK says, tomorrow is going to be a super, super exciting day because both those games, all the permutations and combinations, it's not just winning and losing, it's the margins as well. And that's what you want it to be. And similarly, I guess it's going to happen again when, New Zealand plays Afghanistan. That's it. That's the only game I care about now. New Zealand, Afghanistan is the only game. I don't even care that much about the India game versus Namibia. That's the game I care about. New Zealand, Afghanistan. And of course, well, I mean, see, we Indians, we all love New Zealand. I think Simon Dool once told me on my podcast that I think for most Indians, their number 2 team is New Zealand. But not on that day. No, sir, Bob. No. That day, our team is Afghanistan. That's our number 2 team. Well, that's going to be then. It's been a great day, of course, but we can't close without giving the answer to the joy factor puzzle, the little Leonardo da Vinci kind of puzzles that he sets for us. Seem like plots for Robert Langdon films with Tom Hanks, but here it is. If Suresh Raina swept Shakib for 4 on the first ball of the 44th over of a specific match, then took a single off the third ball, what happened on the 4th ball? Ranji bhai. Yes, sir. I think DK had the right answer. I think DK figured. DK, well done, bro. Well done. You are
Is that the right answer?
You are our Robert Langdon. You cracked the Da Vinci Code. Well done. Hey, listen, man. We guys get our guesses and, our tukkas and our little thing, dart in the dark, correct. But look at you. Zach, respect now. We'll have to give respect. #respect has to be given. #respect. Well done. That is the correct answer. That was...
all the tukkas that happened today, that was the biggest one. I can tell you that. I promise you.
#humble. But he did get it right. But DK is not getting any prize for getting it right because one of our lovely viewers, got it right got the first correct answer. Ronak Jain. Ronak is obviously an Arsenal fan, so there hasn't been too much joy in his life. So Ronak, congratulations for this happy day today. So well done. Enjoy this because I don't know if you're going to enjoy the football for a while to come. I should stop. I shouldn't do it. As a Liverpool fan, I should stop right now. All right. That's all we have time for. DK, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Same here. Pleasure.
And ZK, thank you so much for being here as well. Thank you. There you go. Thumbs up. We're going to see you tomorrow on Cricbuzz Live at 3 p.m. That's going to be in English as well as in Hindi. I have a day off tomorrow, so I'm also going to be seeing all of you from the other side of the screen. From me, Gaurav Kapur. This wraps it up on the DK, GK, ZK edition of Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you soon. Good night.